Welcome, beautiful thinkers. Sometimes I think that karma is in the instant. And so if you could transform in an instant to be a different kind of being, then that would affect your karma and you would start receiving good things in an instant. Let's talk about that.
This is a beautiful thought.
Welcome, beautiful thinkers. Welcome, thinkers. Welcome, thinkers. Welcome, thinkers who are beautiful, who think beautiful thoughts. Welcome, beautiful thinkers. Today's talk is entitled Transformation Counts. I was thinking about that part in the Bible where it says something like, if you have a person who has always been good, who's done good things, who's always been in a certain way, who hasn't sinned, that's good. But if you have somebody who has been misled, who has taken the wrong path, who has sinned, and he turns away from sin, then 1,000 angelic trumpets will light up and play the wonderful tune to rejoice because of this transformation. I was thinking about, sometimes we do things wrong and maybe even people end up getting hurt because of it. We use people or manipulate people, probably unconsciously on our part. And then at some point, we look back and say, I didn't even realize. Maybe somehow we even managed to avoid the consequences of our less than perfect behavior. Or we look back and we say, now I realize those were the consequences. The things that I thought were happening to me just at random that didn't have anything to do with my consequences. They were actually a reflection of myself. And then we take that insight and combine it with another powerful force. It's called action. I like to say that insight plus action equals transformation, because we bring that consciousness to our actions, our thoughts, and our behavior. And because of that, we receive insight. We start to pick up on the patterns. And then we say, I've realized that. It's funny because we say the word realize, but you don't fully realize something until you make it real. So that's what realizing is. When you really realize something, you bring it into this world. And that's what action is. So when we have a powerful insight and take action, we are transformed. I think that's a formula. I think it's a congruent formula, a truism even. I think remains to be tested thoroughly. And when we transform, it's interesting because sometimes even having committed those, I said the word sin, but we say this. Sin actually means missing the mark. So when we miss the mark so many times, and then we receive that insight or we assume that insight and take action on it and achieve transformation, it's interesting because it's almost like we are not the same person anymore. And we won't necessarily face the negative karma. Of course, we can't avoid negative karma entirely, but it's almost like, we'll still face it a little bit because of these remnants of our past that we still have to face. It's like we haven't fully integrated the lesson. But when we do, we won't necessarily be judged because of our past, because we have become somebody new, something new. We bring the consciousness, the God consciousness in. And that's why I mentioned those angelic trumpets. That's why the angels rejoice so much. Because by achieving insight, action, and transformation, we've actually created something, and we've used our own God consciousness. We have contacted that deepest part of ourself, that highest part of ourself, that fatherly, transformative, creative part of ourself that has enabled us to become anew, to be born again. Transformation counts.
A beautiful thought.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to go ahead and send it to a friend and give them a little message, a little reason to tune in to a beautiful thought. Also remember, a lot of you might not realize, I know when I'm looking through podcasts, like I start looking at a new podcast, I might just look at their recent episodes, but I assure you, all of my episodes are of this high quality. So go back through, download a few of the old ones and enjoy them and have a good time. And I'll talk to you soon.
I wanna feel